Welcome to the COG Arcade episode 7, and with us this week is two brand new people. Hopefully Jen will be joining us soon. She has some mother duties to attend to, but this week we have with us Sean Evans from OMG Nexus, or if you've listened to his podcast, the OMG Hour. And we also have Matt, who also goes by CanuskyTheHusky. Yeah, I gotta ask you right away, what's the story with the name?
Oh, the name? Name is actually based on one of my costumes I make on the side.
You make costumes?
I do props and costumes on the side.
What kind of costumes?
He's a Ghostbuster?
Anything. Cosplay, animal-based costumes.
I want an Assassin's Creed Connor costume. Can you make it for me?
Probably, if I can hunt down the right materials.
So, if somebody wants a costume from you, what kind of cost are they looking at for a costume?
It depends exactly what they want and how good they want it. Like if they want something that's going to last a good long time, you got to get the good materials. So
I'm ahead of you on that, Sean. I had somebody actually price out a Connor cosplay costume for me, and I'm on the high end, about $1,000.
Well, see, for a good quality costume like that, if you're serious about it, I think that's pretty good. Yes. I mean, considering the kind of work that has to go into it.
That's about an average price.
Wow.
Everybody charges a little bit differently. Like my stuff, I mainly focus into the fantasy side, more of a animal-based, more of a creature-based costume. And if people just want to start out real simple, my stuff starts about $500, and they can go up about as high as $1,500 or more.
Wow. And do you do it just on the side? It's kind of like a hobby thing?
It's just a hobby that I've been doing for, 13, 14 years.
Wow.
And I don't take on too much because my schedule is pretty tight, so I don't try to take on any more than I can handle.
Well, you're saying that CanuskyTheHusky is from one of the...
I made a husky costume, a full body, fluffy thing that kids like, and it's got a big... He's red, black, and white, like Team Canada's colors. And on his back is a big red maple leaf made into the fur. So.
Yeah, I get it. That's awesome. Some people may know you from the front end a little bit, but what have you done, or what's your involvement with COG? So I don't really know, really. I read some of your reviews, but...
What's mine? Well, basically, they send me a little bit of everything, from previews to write-ups to betas to full-fledged reviews. I've been doing everything from iOS to Xbox Live Arcade, PlayStation Network, Steam a lot, too. So
I know they didn't have a whole lot of PC gamers at one point in time, so that makes sense for Kirby to go, hey, we need some people to do PC stuff. He calls me the Pokemon pinball guy, I think.
Yeah.
Every single Pokemon that comes along is here. Nobody else will take the patience to play that, and I know you're addicted.
You are addicted to Pokemon.
I am reviewing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon right now, Gates to Infinity, so that'll be coming out soon. But,
you should have come to PAX. The Pokemon area was huge. You would have been in heaven.
I will go next year. My wife has promised me that I can go.
That's what you said last year.
Well, last year we decided to not go because...
No, last year you said, I'll go next year.
Yes, but I have a daughter. My daughter's a very good excuse.
We keep hearing the same thing from you, John. Come on.
Daughters are expensive.
Uh-huh.
I've had 2 boys beforehand, and as well you know that they are expensive, but we had to buy...
Yes, I have 3 of them.
Sean, for people who don't know who you are,
what?
Tell us about you.
What? Don't know me? Oh, for shame. No, I am Sean Evans. I am known everywhere online as Zion on Twitter, on every game. If you see Zion anywhere, it's me. I'm also, I started a website a couple of years ago to do game reviews, from a different point of view, as a father of children. As an older gamer, we don't always have time to play games, so I started reviewing games on my site, Lasting First Impressions. Basically after a full hour of solid gameplay, minus the tutorials and the videos and stuff. But the idea was, is this game worth continuing with in our limited time to play games. So that was the concept behind our reviews. We've just recently switched our branding to OMG Nexus to go along with the podcast, the OMG Hour. And OMG is Old Married Gamers. That's me in a nutshell.
In a nut job, yes.
I am a nut job.
It goes with the territory, probably being a little bit of a gamer, I guess.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Well, I know you guys were at PAX, but before we start talking about PAX, did you guys have any time to game this week? Review anything?
Not with PAX. I mean, I finished Tomb Raider before leaving for PAX and decided that the night before I left I should start the second game again. So I started playing Tomb Raider from the beginning for the second time through.
But you 100%ed it the first time, right?
Yes, I 100%ed the campaign.
Did you play on the hardest difficulty first, or is that what you're doing now?
No, I didn't. I played on normal difficulty. I'm actually going through it on the same difficulty. I just thoroughly enjoyed the game and I just want to do it again.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I beat it as well this past week, and my wife watched along with me, and she's like, "Wow, I couldn't play this. The story seems at the surface just like a typical story, but you get deep into it in an emotional level. It just takes you on that story, and for me, that's what makes a game is me emotionally attaching myself to the characters."
Yeah. Well, I'm a big Tomb Raider fan. I've played all of the ones on this generation and a couple on the other generations. But, I mean, at its core, this new Tomb Raider is missing a lot of core Tomb Raider things in it, or they're scaled back immensely. But I kind of understand why they went that route with this game, but I'm hoping they bring some of that stuff back in the next one. I see this as more of like a prequel to her being she's not a Tomb Raider yet, right? So I see this as being a prequel to how she gets into it.
And I'm hoping tombs.
Yeah, I love that line. Love that line. She walks into one of the tombs for the first time and says, "Oh, I hate tombs." I thought that was really clever to throw in there. So I'm hoping in the next games that they'll add more of what I think a lot of fans were expecting. But overall, I thought it was a fantastic game.
Did you have a chance to play it, Matt?
Not yet. It's on my to-do list, but I'm trying to catch up. I am so behind on some games. Like, here's an example. I just finally picked up Mass Effect 3.
You're not the only one.
So you're about a year behind in your gaming then.
I have like a stack of stuff still to get to, or I still need to pick it up. The only positive about that is that they're cheap. I can get them cheaper than what they used to.
Good. Well, saving some cash.
Unfortunately, with Tomb Raider, I was reading today that Square Enix, their internal projected sales for Tomb Raider, Sleeping Dogs, and I forget the other title, were all below projection. So you might see a little bit of slashing to get those games out there a little bit more.
But
Tomb Raider was less than they were expecting?
Yes.
They sold 3.4 million copies.
Yep, and they wanted to sell more.
That's ridiculous.
Square Enix president also stepped down today, too. Their CEO stepped down today.
I heard that. What was that all about? Has anybody said why or what's going on there?
I read and heard and chatted with people about, and the consensus is they stepped down due to a huge restructuring loss is one of the reasons.
They lost money.
Yeah, after they restructured.
Wow.
Like, even though they sold millions of games, they still didn't take a whole lot in. From what I read on IGN, probably like an hour ago, I was like, wow, really?
That's just sad that, you sell millions and millions of copies of a game and it's still considered a loss.
I'd like to know if those figures include actually downloaded digital sales, because I don't know if they're just talking about physical sales or digital too.
Well, I think it would have to, because that is a sale. They would be getting that money. But I have no clue.
No.
I just think it's sad that in this day and age that, in our beloved hobby, that it takes, over 3 million copies for it to be considered a success. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Hey, Jen. We got Sean and Matt with us.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen. Hey, Jen. Missed you at PAX.
I'm really bummed out that I couldn't go. Have E3.
Yes.
We've been talking about Tomb Raider and how we love the game, but at the same time that it can sell like 3.5 million copies and still be considered not very successful. That's where we're at. Yay! So now we have Jen with us. Let's talk a little bit about PAX and what happened there. So you guys were there on the floor. So tell us about PAX. Let's start with you, Matt.
Oh, PAX was insane. I swear there was more people this year than last year.
It was insanely packed there this year.
I loved it. It was just, everybody was just having a good time. Too much to see in one day.
What really stood out for you, Matt?
Oh God, the indie showcase.
The indie mega booth?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a mega booth.
This is I believe my third or fourth PAX, and the indie games were always tucked away in a corner, out of the way, very little traffic. The poor guys were standing around looking for somebody to come over and play their games. Well, the indie case, the actual area was almost the same size as the rest of, like the main big guys, like the big titles, like Assassin's Creed and,
the mega booth was the biggest booth on the floor.
Yes, it was just massive. It's like there was just so much in such a area. It was sometimes hard to get in to actually play. It was just, I stood in line. I couldn't believe I stood in line for 45 minutes to play an indie game. I never thought I'd be doing that.
What game was that?
Believe it or not, it was called Outlast. It was by Red Barrels.
I was reading about that game.
It was amazing.
I loved it.
These guys, how scary it is.
It's think Amnesia running the Unreal 3 engine with an awesome soundtrack, audio track to go with it.
The ambiance in that game, in Outlast, is unbelievably spooky. Okay, so imagine a survival horror along the lines of, like, say, the original Resident Evil, the way that made you feel, like, scared to turn the next corner.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine that kind of fear with no weapons and no way to fight.
You can hide.
Yes. If something comes to attack you, the only thing you can do is run and hide.
So basically it's real life.
Yeah.
For most people.
And it was pretty spooky. So this very early on, this thing comes out at me, and I ran into this room. I found a desk and I hid under the desk, and then the creature came in, and I'm just watching it. I was like, I'm literally watching it through the hole in the desk, and it comes out, it comes behind the desk, and it just stands there for a minute. And like literally my heart's pumping. This thing it's freaky. Like, this is a true survival horror, and I can't wait to play this thing more. Yeah. But it is going to be one of those games that you're going to play for like 20 or 30 minutes and say, okay, that's enough. I can't take anymore.
It's a Canadian studio too, which I like.
Oh, wow.
They're from Montreal, I believe they said.
Well, is the team not consisted of people who have worked at Ubisoft?
Yes.
Various other Canadian developers, so.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my highlights, was Outlast. I couldn't believe what they're doing there.
And any other indie highlights from the showcase?
Did anybody play Guacamelee? That game looks really...
I stopped and I talked with those guys for 45 minutes, and I just had fun. It was a great game. And
Buck Studios, they're Canadian. They're right out of Toronto as well, so...
Right out of Toronto.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play Guacamelee. I honestly didn't even see it.
If they were on a center section corner.
The thing with PAX East, and I find this every year, is as busy as I was going from one appointment to another, seeing tons and tons of stuff, the amount of things I saw pales in comparison to what's actually there.
Yes.
Right? When I leave and I talk to other people who's like, I saw this, I'm like, what? That was there? Where was it? Like, 'cause no matter how many times you walk through the floor, you're missing something.
Yes. There was a few things that I had the same problem. Somebody mentioned, did you play this? It's like, well, no, where was this?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's what's great about PAX, is just how much is actually there. And then that's just the show floor, let alone the tabletop gaming area, or upstairs for the classic console gaming and the arcade or the pinball section and all that stuff.
Well, the classic arcade, I love going back in there. I just hang out in there for an hour or two and feel nostalgic.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say there, Jen?
Now, Sean, I know you've been to a couple PAXs in the past. Matt, I'm not sure. Is this your first one, or How did you find the crowds this year?
PAX.
Has there been a drastic increase? Because I know on the Saturday last year it was just nuts, and seeing pictures on the Friday, it looks absolutely crazy.
It was nuts again this year. I think there was more this year. There was a lot more traffic jams on the floor trying to get through things.
It's very stinky.
I had a lot of problems getting into panels.
Really?
I had a minimum. You had to get there at least an hour and a half ahead of time.
Oh yeah, that's the same. That hasn't changed.
The gearbox.
Unfortunately,
I lined up 3 hours ahead of time.
Wow.
I was 30th in line. I tried getting into the Blizzard panel. They were full. I showed up 2 hours early, full. I tried to get into the DayZ panel. I showed up even earlier. Nope, that's full.
Now, Sean, let me ask you, because again, if I would have won, I would have been under a press pass. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to. With a press pass, did you have access to any of the panels? Did you? I don't want to say special access, but
I don't think so. I think they stopped that after the first year.
And rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
This show is for the gamers, right? It's
Yeah,
not for
yeah.
the press.
So I was my first year going. I was not media. So I've been media every year since the first year. So this was my fourth. This was the fourth PAX East, and I've been to all of them. But I didn't actually try to go to any panels this year because I did panels my first year there, and I felt like I wasted the whole weekend standing in lines just to get into panels. Then I said, I'm not going to do that again. I mean, as fun as some of the panels can be, there's more here to see than just the panels, and I really enjoy going now that I've got the site and going as media to meet all the developers. It's so much fun. It's really exhilarating to just go from one thing to another all day long.
It is.
Speaking of panels, and I know, Matt, that you were at the Gearbox one.
Oh, yeah.
As a Borderlands 2 fan, and I'm sure Kirby would love to hear about this too, tell us about the Gearbox panel.
That was just fun, and I've learned that Mikey Newman, the creative chief, is insane.
How so?
Well, he's coming out to the crowd. He come out ahead of time. He says, yeah, I've been told to come out and entertain you guys for the next 20 minutes, just to keep everybody happy. And he's walking around, and he's handing out stuff, and shirts, and T-shirts, and hats, and toys. And all along the time, there's a little midget running around, dressed as one of the little midget psychos from Borderlands 2. And
Hey, be politically correct about it.
okay, little person. He was
The
funny.
psycho little person?
Yes.
Psycho little person, there we go.
He was really into it, and it worked. And then Randy Pitchford come out and did magic tricks.
Wow,
Nice.
that was
That's cool.
the wait.
He did card tricks, and they had it up on the big screen. And then they called somebody up from the audience, and they did this card trick, and I thought that was kind of cute. And then they disappeared again, and then they all came out on stage, and the presentation began. So
did anybody go to the Capcom presser? Or the panel? Anyone? Because my favorite news out of PAX was at that panel.
Are you talking about the Ducktales?
I am. I am so excited about that game. I can't wait.
Believe it or not, for a game that was a big secret and they were gonna suddenly show it, they were only showing it on the expo floor on one little screen.
Oh.
I was really surprised.
Talking about Capcom, one of the highlights for me was another game from Capcom that's coming soon. I think it's June 14th, is Remember Me. I had the opportunity to play that Thursday night at Mad Catz Unveiled, and it is looking really, really great. It's kind of it's very Tomb Raider-ish. The way she moves around and climbs, grabs onto stuff. It's that kind of adventure, but the fighting is, it's kind of a combination between Tomb Raider with the navigation and Batman with the combat.
Weird.
Yeah. Really, really well done though. Very sci-fi, super futuristic cyberpunk type thing.
Okay.
Really cool. I don't know exactly what the story is because the demo they had didn't give away very much at all. In fact, playing through the demo, I don't even know what our protagonist's name is. It's looking great, and it feels good. The controls felt a little loose, but you kind of get used to it, so it doesn't take long to realize that you don't need to move her too much for her to move properly. You don't have to. You turn the stick too quickly, she turns almost right around.
Wow.
It's that sensitive. So.
Sorry, I got to go back to it because I think it deserves a little bit more airtime. Frickin' Ducktales! It's like the best Nintendo game ever. I'm sitting there I'm like, no, we're not gonna let this go down. We gotta talk about Ducktales more. You wanna know how excited I got for it? This is now my ringtone for my phone.
Don't do it! Don't do it! No!
Oh,
I just got it out of my head!
I got the 8-bit version.
No! But it's funny, you can tell on Twitter who's over 30 because all of those people were super excited about the game.
How many of you remember playing it?
Oh,
I
I do.
remember playing.
I remember. Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be good fun. And I know my son keeps on telling me that I want to make video games when I get older. I'm like, we got to get that game because that game is really, really good for you to play. Just to play it. I've been trying to convince them to watch it on TV with me, but they're like, no, we don't want to watch Ducktales.
I know, my daughter's the same way and she's missing out on such a great cartoon.
They're interested in Darkwing Duck though, so I'm hoping that it could be a gateway cartoon.
I would love to see a Darkwing Duck cartoon, a video game.
Wasn't there a Darkwing Duck video game?
Yes, it was, but I'd like to see a new one.
Like a remastering as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely was. It was actually, speaking of Capcom did make that game as well for Nintendo back in 1993. Oh, and they had a Game Boy version as well. That's pretty cool.
Sweet.
Well, I think it's scheduled to come out in the summer, and I believe I saw something that it'll be 1,200 points. So.
Yeah. Saw that too. And another thing that Capcom has announced, I'm not sure if it was PAX, is a D&D Chronicles of Mystara, which I used to play. It's kind of like Golden Axe a little bit, but just sunk a lot of quarters in the arcade at that. It was a lot of fun.
Capcom has a license for D&D?
Yeah.
That's surprising since that's Wizards of the Coast.
Well, this is old.
I was actually hoping for a surprise announcement to be maybe a new Darkstalkers game.
Did they announce that or no?
I'm hoping. I was hoping it would have been like a remade, like how they did Street Fighter and brought that back, like a new style Darkstalkers game.
Speaking of, we're around Capcom. They were talking about Mega Man. It's 20 years of Mega Man. That they said that there's a new Mega Man company. Then I guess this community manager's like, no, we're talking about it. There's nothing coming. So there's a little bit of controversy on that one. I guess nothing major. Just I think a little bit of people not getting their communication down right. But do you think there needs to be, I know we're excited for DuckTales and we have this D&D Chronicles of Mystara and we're talking about Darkwing Duck. Do we need all of these remakes?
Yes. Well, no, there's a lot to be said about, nostalgia. I think for us in our 30s, Do you want to go back to those games?
Yes, but you know what the best new part of DuckTales is? They're adding a mode where you can swim in the money bank.
I guess it depends how they approach these older titles and if they make it, do a good job with them, because I don't want to see the gaming industry go the way the movie industry has with just remake after remake after remake. Most people want new material. Even in the movies, we want new materials. Stop doing all the remakes. Mm. So I guess it depends. If a couple of remakes here and there is fine, but if everybody starts doing remakes all the time, it's just going to get really stale.
I do like how they're calling it a remastering rather than here we're re-releasing it. It's an HD version.
So is it going to be the same game?
Yes and no. At the core, it's going to be the same, but they are, instead of having pixelated art, they are taking hand-drawn stuff. They're redoing all the music, I believe they said, and what was another thing?
They're modernizing.
DuckTales?
They're modernizing the game, but the gameplay is going to be the same game. Is that what they're doing?
Essentially, yes. They're adding, I think, some bonus levels. I'm not 100% sure what they are adding, but I know they're adding some other things.
So it's a reskin.
Yeah.
So anyhow, yeah, I will definitely, that'll be day one for me.
I'll play the demo first. I never did get a chance to try it. I could never get close to the machine.
Yeah, I'm sure there's people going nuts for it.
If we go back to older games, you know what I'd love to see a reskin of in that same vein is Contra 3 Alien Wars.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that reskinned and updated to today's standards. That would be awesome.
Well, Capcom's glory days are all back in the 80s and 90s, right? So they could probably reskin a lot of stuff and get away with it as long as they didn't.
And that might be why they're doing this, because honestly, how many great Capcom games have we had in the last couple of years? Probably not very many.
No.
So I think they're trying to be like, hey, remember us? Remember when we were good? Here's some good stuff.
I know Capcom has been releasing a lot of packages on the Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. Like they released, the two.
They did an arcade thing recently.
Yeah, they did the arcade thing. They released their couple two. They've been bundling the old school fighting games in together and releasing them. Marvel Superheroes and Marvel Capcom and
PlayStation Plus, they have a Mega Man 3 and 4 together that you can download as a pack. I remember downloading it. I think, here, try this. And it's like, this is too hard.
So, we're getting a little off track here, just back to PAX, outside of the indie games booth. Now, did you guys spend any time with the AAA titles? Let me think, what was there,
Assassin's Creed?
It wasn't a playable demo, though. Was it last year they had a theater, right, where you went in and they give you a 20-minute presentation on the game?
Yep, it's exactly the same thing they did last year for 3. It was the same thing this year for 4. Gave you basically a little behind the scenes of the game and showed you some actual gameplay as it stands now. You basically said, just keep in mind, this is still in its alpha stages, but it still looked amazing. It looked fantastic.
It looks good, but I honestly think it's a little too soon for another Assassin's Creed game.
We've had an Assassin's Creed game every single year for the last 5 years.
Plus, you're wrong. It's once a year is good.
Yes, exactly. Once a year is great.
Also at that booth, I think, did they have Watch Dogs and Splinter Cell were there as well? No.
Splinter Cell looked really good.
Yeah, Splinter Cell, they had a live demo, so it's not hands-on, but they had a guy actually playing and going through all the different things they can do. It looked really great.
Yes.
And then Watch Dogs was also some gameplay footage, but from the vantage point of all the cameras around the city.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was kind of here's what the city sees of Aiden Pierce, and this is how they're watching him, but it was gameplay footage, which is cool. I'm really excited for Watch Dogs. It feels to me like a modern day Assassin's Creed.
Have you listened to the podcast Raji and I did about how
I'm gonna say no because we're all crickets.
He was talking about that a little bit. It's like, what if it is a modern day Assassins, and then we started talking about an animus with an animus, or what if somebody that's a whole other thing. But we'll move on.
The animus inception.
Yes, animus inception. Basically, what if somebody, an ancestor of Desmond, somehow he has some kind of love child somewhere, and he goes and relives his memories so he can figure out that stuff. But Desmond's, it's all convoluted. My question about PAX, I noticed this from pictures, is that there was a lot of games there that are already out.
Yeah.
And
Microsoft had a booth with Gears Judgment, with Dance Central, and
Halo 4.
What else? And Halo 4.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Gears Judgment I could understand, but the other two, I was like, really?
That was Microsoft's booth. I'm like, why are you here?
Filler.
But surprisingly, it was full all the time. People standing around waiting to play Halo 4. Like, really?
Yes, they were.
That's really surprising.
Surprisingly, there was no EA booth.
There was no EA. No. There was no Activision.
EA wasn't there last year, though.
No, and was Activision there last year?
I can't remember.
No, they weren't there.
Yeah, they were absent again this year.
Was Warner Brothers there with Injustice?
No, I don't think so.
That's surprising because they were there last year with Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, that's right.
Mortal Kombat. That's very surprising that they weren't there.
And if they were, I did not see them anywhere.
They were showing gameplay of Injustice on the booth when you came down the main escalators on the right-hand side. It was like some gaming media booth, and they were doing interviews. And on the one large screen, they had...
You're talking about the Twitch TV booth?
Yes, that Twitch. Yes, they were there playing it, and they had somebody there from Warner Brothers showing off the game.
Right, but no actual booth, no Warner Brothers booth.
Right.
You know, speaking of Twitch, you know, it seems PAX is definitely geared towards esports as well. Like, I'm really seeing from pictures that I've seen and the presence last year that the esports community has a huge presence at this event. I'm thinking like, League of Legends, for example. They had did they not have a big, or Shoot Mania?
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, there was a lot of competitions in gaming going on there, with some of these titles. A lot of people playing for actual prizes. Yeah. Did you guys hear what happened at the Twitch TV party?
No.
So Cliff Blazinski went to the party, and where they were hosting it, unfortunately, this bar has a dress code, and because Twitch didn't rent out the entire bar, the dress code was still in effect. And we all know Cliffy. He shows up in like jeans and a t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
The bar wouldn't let him in.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. I mean, Cliffy, he's cool. He didn't blame Twitch by any means. He just basically said, fine, I'm leaving, and he twittered out that they wouldn't let him in.
Speaking of
really?
leaving, I'm sorry guys, but I have to go. I'm playing chauffeur tonight for my little one, so.
Oh.
Thanks for dropping in. Is there anything you want to say before you take off?
Just don't play that Ducktales song again. I don't know about you guys, but since I've heard the announcement, it's been stuck in my head for days, so.
Maybe
next time we speak, we have lots of Bioshock to talk about.
Yes. I got my copy today.
Can't wait to play, so. Alright.
See you, Jen.
See you, Jen. Thanks for dropping by.
See you later.
Well, we were just talking about Injustice. Oh, I'm going to segue into that a little bit. I actually had a chance to go to Toronto to check it out.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to this game.
And I got to see the chapter, the introduction chapters for the story campaign on how it all gets set up. And I just really like how it's this big, huge what if, you know, the Joker nukes Metropolis, killing over 1 million people, and two of those people happen to be Lois Lane and Superman's unborn child, and Superman snaps. Basically goes, I'm taking over the world, mofos, and Batman's like, how you are? And it kind of sets it up for like, kind of like the two sides. To me, it reminds me of Marvel's Civil War type of thing where they had to pick up two sides. So it's a universe of that, you know, Batman's like, no, like, we can take care of ourselves, and Superman's like, no, like, obviously you can. A little bit, so it kind of sets that up, and some of the battles that they do look pretty good. I've been following IGN's kind of battle arena as well, of how it's going down, but basically how it's going to differ from Mortal Kombat, where Mortal Kombat's a little bit more for hardcore fighters.
Yeah, I played it.
This is going to be a lot more approachable for new people, and falls into the cliche of, you know, easy to jump in and play, but difficult to master.
That's why I probably really liked it.
Yeah.
I found Soul Calibur to be very similar to that, where it was easy to get in and play, but it takes a lot of practice to perfect it. I really enjoyed Soul Calibur 4.
Yeah.
And Injustice seems kind of along that line.
Yeah.
I did get to play it for at a PlayStation event, so I do know what it's like. It's a lot of fun. I love being Batman, being the gadget character, and
I was Nightwing when I played it.
Yeah, he's pretty good too. Surprisingly, my most favorite, I shouldn't say surprisingly, I was surprised myself at how much I enjoyed playing as Wonder Woman. No, like,
okay, John.
What? I was just surprised how well of a character that she was, and how, you know, I could switch to her whip, I got the sword, and she played really, really well. I kicked ass as her, so basically.
Aquaman all the way.
You heard it here first. John likes women with whips.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll fully admit that.
Nice.
I know, just a little segue off into Injustice, but you guys got any more things to talk about PAX?
I ran into Tim Schafer.
Wow, nice.
I got a picture with him. He signed my badge. and he liked my large leather jacket that looked like right out of Brutal Legend. So
Nice. Bill Amend was there. If anybody is familiar with the Foxtrot comics,
yes,
he was there signing.
Oh.
So I picked up his book there and spoke with him for a few minutes. It was it was fun because I've been reading Foxtrot for years. Like I've got several treasuries in my library. And he signed that. And I also sat and spoke with R.A. Salvatore for a good 30, 40 minutes at a Wizards of the Coast presser.
Nice. I'm so jealous that I just had to call you an ass just to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, PAX was amazing. There's a lot of stuff that I saw. I'll be going through all my notes and cards and trying to, remember everything. It's just, you see so many things that some things slip through the cracks, and I can't remember everything I saw. But if for our crossover listeners, John, I mean, if they listen to OMG Hour this week, I will be talking about it more, so you can get some more of my thoughts on what I saw there.
I think that's enough a little bit about PAX. This week, I was really surprised when I was digging up this information, how many new releases there is this week. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about Bioshock, but for the 3DS this week, Luigi's Mansion came out and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and Luigi's Mansion is getting rave reviews from what I've been seeing. I believe we have a review of it on the front end for CanadianOnlineGamers.com as well.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger Woods 14's out. I'm sure Sean and I are a little bit excited for that, being Tiger Woods fans.
I love Tiger Woods games. I love playing golf in real life. So, yes, I'm excited for Tiger Woods.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably be picking it up eventually.
I do love in Tiger Woods 14, if anyone doesn't know what they're doing as their kind of like their special mode. This year they're going into the past. You're able to go and play courses back to like 1874, and they've painstakingly recreated the courses as they appeared in those years, and they even, when you're playing, for instance, in 1874, everything's black and white.
Nice.
When you play in, say, the 20s and 30s, everything's like the sepia look, or sepia, or however you say it, the old style photography.
Mm-hmm.
But also, when you're playing in the past, you're also playing with the clubs that existed back then, right? They weren't called woods and irons. They were called brassies and
jiggers.
Jiggers, yeah. So it's really cool. They're creating an authentic golfing historical event.
Unfortunately for me, it's probably going to be one that I will wait to buy later on when it drops to, say, $40 or so, if not cheaper. It's got so much on the go right now. It's just to throw $60 down on that. There's just a lot of.
I hear you. Often I've waited. Often I have bought Tiger Woods like every second year. So we'll see how this one goes. Because I have 13. So whether I buy 14, I'm not sure. I may wait until 15. But you know what? With the history of golf portion of this game, I'm kind of tempted to get it because it looks really cool.
And definitely Tiger knows how to do it. His game comes out, it gets #1 ranking in the world back. How's that for PR, eh?
Yeah.
He did it on purpose.
Timing.
Well, he has a woman back in his life, so I guess that makes him play golf better. Who knows?
Well, there you go.
I did not see this one coming at all for new releases, but Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel.
Yeah, where did this come from?
I don't know. Do we need another Army of Two?
I'm like, really? Is it $20? Is it, it's it's going to be in the dump bin pretty quick at Walmart and stuff like that. I didn't
hear anything about it. It's like
it just all of a sudden appeared.
Yeah.
I know.
I had the exact same moment when I was reading a press release on the new Call of Juarez. I'm like, really?
Yeah, another Call of Juarez?
Why?
But I did play Call of Juarez at PAX. It's being published by Ubisoft, as the other two were. And it being an XBLA game, they've gone sort of the more animated, cartoony feel to it. But it actually played really well. I kind of liked what I saw. So it's not a full-fledged AAA title. It's an XBLA downloadable, but it looks amazing. And it controls quite well, and I liked it, so I'll give it a go.
Surprising. If it's an arcade game, I'll give the trial a try.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Definitely give the trial a trial.
Speaking of arcade titles, this one I'm excited for. it came out today on PSN, comes out tomorrow on XBLA, but Terrarria is now out.
Terrarria is out.
Nice.
I'm anxious to get into this one as well.
I've got it for Steam.
Sorry?
I have Terraria for Steam. I've had it for a while.
And do you enjoy it?
Yes. It's basically a 2D Minecraft.
2D Minecraft, but with RPG adventuring.
Yes, it's very evil and not easy at all. I don't know if they're making any changes, if it's a direct port. But
It's not a direct port. It's actually a different team doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're of course they're making it specifically for the Xbox and PSN for the controller. But no, it's not a direct port of the original because it's not the same team working on it.
Okay, I did not know that.
Well, one thing they made is that I know they made a world map to help people out. They have also how it controls. So there's two different type of control schemes where it can go almost like a clock, your pointer around in the 360 radius, or it can move a little bit more freely for combat purposes, or if you're building things, the clock kind of control staggering where it will lock into that position so you can build a lot easier. There's one thing they said they make it a little bit easier because with the mouse it's a lot easier to go click, I'm building something there, right? Where with a controller it's not going to work 100%. There's some different enemies, they said. Obviously more things to build. But yeah, I know my son's a huge Minecraft fan. I don't get it. I know Sean doesn't get Minecraft, so I'm hoping I get Terraria a lot more than I do Minecraft, so I'm hoping...
Yeah, see, I already get Terraria more because it's got that adventure RPG element, so you have goals, like you're trying to do something.
Yes.
Kill killer rabbits.
You know? Like, to me, Minecraft just... You're not trying to do something, you're just doing whatever you want.
Yeah, it's like a blocky Second Life.
It's Lego.
Yeah, it's Lego.
And I mean, I'm a huge Lego fan, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, I just don't have the time to spend on a game like that when there's no goal, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, the big release, Bioshock Infinite, it's pretty much 9s and up review.
Surprisingly, I actually got my copy today that I pre-ordered from Future Shop. It arrived.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
April Fools.
It arrived the day it actually released.
Weird.
Wow.
Here's a first.
Yeah, that is a first. I once waited 2 weeks for a pre-order from Future Shop.
I remember that.
I generally go through Best Buy, and I just always find it weird how Best Buy, Future Shop, same company, but I've never had a problem with Best Buy getting my releases day of, and you've had all this trouble with Future Shop.
Yeah, I very rarely get them day of. I at least get them the next day, but this one, when it was Hitman, it was 2 weeks, and I hadn't received it, and they ended up, I mean, I'm not complaining, I ended up paying like $15 for it. They dropped so much off because of it.
Yes.
Well, technically you did complain.
Of course I did, but that's how I got it for $15 instead of $45.
I would have complained.
Are you getting it, Matt?
I will eventually. I think I'm
next year.
You'll get it next year, exactly.
I'll probably be sooner than that because I really enjoyed the first two Bioshocks and just the overall mood and atmosphere and the music of the game. I played through the first two several times, and when I heard they were making this, I looked at it, and this is just like, yeah, this is going to be a winner.
Yeah, this I was worried with Bioshock originally because it's a different location, and it's it's so colorful.
Oh, yes.
Rapture is very dark and dreary and kind of like earth tones, right? Whereas this is because it's up in the sky, it's more bright sky colors, blues and greens and everything. But it truly still feels like you're playing Bioshock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've done a fantastic job. You don't feel like you're playing a new game. You feel like you're playing Bioshock again, even though the locale is completely different. But they have added some really cool new stuff like the zip lines. And I know a lot of people are kind of iffy about the zip lines, thinking that doesn't look easy to do, but they have implemented in a way that it'll become very second nature to use them.
Sweet.
Me being not really, I've never played Bioshock 1 or 2. I looked at them, I'm like, oh, this does not interest me at all. But when I was with Sean at the X13 Spring event, watching him play it, I'm like, wow, this looks pretty cool. Maybe I'll look into it later on, trying it out, because I think with Bioshock 1 and 2, the dark and kind of dreary just kind of turned me off a little bit. I don't know why, we're judging a book by its cover a little bit.
And what's nice about Infinite is you don't need to play the other two to play this one, because it takes place about 30 or 40 years actually before Bioshock.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely something for me to keep an eye on, especially if it's reviewing so well across the board. It's like, there's not very many scores below 9 that I've seen. I haven't looked at Metacritic or anything like that, but from what I've been seeing on Twitter and other social media is that people love it. It's just, this game's amazing. So that's really nice to see. Yeah. Good consensus.
Getting really high scores, so.
Perfect. Well, there's some other things happening in the news. Some things that I know not particularly excited about, but Saints Row 4 has been announced, which I think is a good move by Deep Silver with their new acquisition to go like, hey, I got this game coming.
So Matt, did you see Saints Row 4 at PAX East? They had a behind closed door press event, and they basically showed actual gameplay. They had a guy actually playing the build, and it was absolutely amazing. Like, it looked so cool. Superpowers, and now I asked them, because we all know about Enter the Dominatrix, which was supposed to be the add-on expansion pack for Saints Row 3.
Yes.
And of course that never happened. So I asked them, is this an expansion on that expansion? And yes and no, it basically was the answer. So they've taken elements from Enter the Dominatrix and expanded on it to make Saints Row 4, but they still want to finish up Enter the Dominatrix and release sort of a special edition that will have it included. So the basic premise behind Saints Row 4 is now that as a leader of the Saints, you've taken over the whole of the United States and you're now president.
Speaking of that, I was actually reading an article on how they're thinking of making Stephen Colbert the president in Saints Row 4.
Oh, God.
What, making him the voice of him?
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to do it. Is it be a picture of him or anything, or just the voice?
I don't know. So this time your enemies are an alien species that have invaded the Earth and taken the president hostage and thrown him into this virtual reality. But what's cool about it is they're not trying to destroy Earth. They're trying to indoctrinate us. So they're basically, they abduct people, put them into a virtual world to train their minds and indoctrinate them and make them become sort of, part of their society. But of course, as the president of the Saints, no one tells him what to do. So he starts going against the programming, and that's how he gets superpowers, because he's in a virtual world. He can essentially do whatever he wants. And they have implemented the superpowers so well. Like speed, like you're the Flash. You can jump like over or onto these super tall buildings like Superman. You can throw freeze ray like Iceman. Like, it's just, it's amazing, and it looks like it's so much fun.
It sounds like Crackdown.
Yes, well that's what they said is, that's what I thought is, it's kind of like Crackdown, because what they've done is the city itself may not be bigger than what was in Saints Row 3, but they've gone vertical with it. So there's more verticality because you've got the superpowers.
Nice.
Interesting. The other thing that's been announced that I'm kind of excited for, I'm not sure how much you guys are MOBA fans at all?
I'm not a big fan of MOBAs because I'm not a big fan of multiplayer stuff. Right. Unless it's an MMO.
Well, they have announced Infinite Crisis, which is going to be a DC Universe-based MOBA. Are you guys familiar with the Infinite Crisis DC storyline at all?
Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Different types of, different Jokers, different Batmans, different Supermans, kind of all similar abilities, but different kind of edges to them, and they're all kind of meeting and I guess they're going to battle it out. But yeah, I'm comic book anything. I'll try it at least once, and it looks interesting. They have a lot of characters announced for it, and glad they're going PC only with it. Not even going to bother try consoling it up. What do you think, Matt?
It sounds fun. I don't know really too much about it. I'm afraid.
It's all good. It's just something I picked up on that, with Injustice coming out, and it seems DC is having a lot more success with their video games than they are their movies lately, except for Batman, of course.
Yeah. The new Superman movie kind of worries me.
Oh, this new Superman movie is getting rave reviews from pre-release people who've seen it. They're saying it's going to be the superhero movie of the year.
I like the way they're going with it, to be honest.
So do I.
I enjoy the look and everything. I just feel burned by the last one.
Well, that's, I think, why you're going to like this one. I have heard nothing but rave reviews about how this movie is going to be the one to see this year.
For me, what kind of sold me on the movie is from that trailer where Clark saves the kid from the bus and Pa Kent's basically, you should have let him drown.
Yeah.
I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Whoa! That's, kind of sets the tone.
Basically, it's like you got to protect your secret. That's that turning point about protecting a secret, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta admit though, I'm kind of jazzed that Kevin Costner is Jonathan Kent. I've been a huge Costner fan since Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, I'm a Costner fan too. I don't care what people say about his bad movies. Some of his bad movies are a lot better than some people's movies.
I agree.
I know this isn't a movie podcast, but you know what? Postman and Waterworld, I love those movies.
I liked it too. I love The Postman. I thought that was a great movie.
So do I. I thought Waterworld was great.
I enjoyed it.
It's a popcorn flick. I hate how people just rip into things. Oh man, it was so horrible. I'm like, you know what? Did you enjoy it? Was it worth the $10-20 you paid for it when you were having your popcorn? Great. Awesome. Great end of the day.
You want to know something? Waterworld was the first Blu-ray I ever bought.
Interesting.
Oh, no, it goes further back than that. It was the first DVD I bought.
Really?
Yes.
I tried
and Dances with Wolves is basically it's in my top 5, if not number 1. But when I watched Dances with Wolves, I watched the 4-hour director's cut.
Wow. Speaking of first Blu-rays, mine was Avatar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just started collecting later on. I got a decent collection now, but...
Yeah, it wasn't Blu-ray for me. My first Blu-ray was a Christmas gift from my wife. It was the Die Hard collection.
Nice.
That was my first Blu-ray.
Nice.
It's been... Because I worked at Blockbuster, right? So my DVD collection's ginormous. I don't even remember what my first DVD was, because I used to get that stuff dirt cheap. But no, it's okay to talk about movies. I wouldn't say it's a video game podcast. I would say it's a nerdcast. We can talk about whatever we want, but yeah, there's definitely some good movies on the horizon.
Well, I'm excited for Superman.
Yeah,
for Man of Steel.
Superman, Man of Steel does look really good. There's some good animations coming out down the road that I want to see as well.
And of course, Iron Man 3 looks incredible.
Yes, I love the tech in that movie.
Yeah.
I would love to make myself one. Did you see the War Machine costume walking around?
Yes.
That was well done.
Yep. Well, the painted one.
Yes, red, white, and blue.
The actual Patriot painted one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my wife at first hated Iron Man. She's like, I don't like this because the first movie's a little bit more war-focused.
My wife doesn't like Iron Man either. She actually doesn't like Robert Downey Jr.
So she doesn't like Robert Downey either. But what she couldn't get past is because, it takes place out in the desert and there's, weapons and everything, and she has a hard time stomaching that. But after she got through the war-based stuff, she started to really, really dig it. Speaking of movies, I found it kind of humorous that I ended up watching The Hobbit this past week in 3 parts. The first movie, I had to watch an hour each night around the kids.
Had you not seen it?
No, I didn't get a chance to go to the theater to see it because my wife said, I don't want to go see no movie in theater if I have to wait so long to see the second and third movie.
Oh.
I don't want to do that. And took her 10 minutes, basically, maybe it was more like 15. As soon as the dwarves started coming into Bag End, she got hooked as soon as Philly and Killy came into the house.
Yep.
It's like, yeah. And we had to watch it, but it's good.
I didn't buy it when it came out because honestly, you know that by the end of the year the extended edition will be out. So when that happened with Lord of the Rings, I mean, I'll never watch the theatrical release. I will watch extended every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of, I'm gonna not buy The Hobbit right now, and I'm gonna wait for the extended releases to come out. Even though I really want to watch it again, I am resisting the urge to buy the Blu-ray.
I can lend it to you if it's, you're pretty close.
Yeah, just a little.
I find it interesting that, Matt himself is pretty close, but,
Yeah.
Is it the first time, did you guys meet at PAX?
No.
No.
I didn't see anybody local at PAX.
I didn't even know you were there until I started seeing some tweets.
It's not like we would have been able to find each other anyway, right?
Exactly. Hell, I was trying to meet up with Monkey. Monkey was there for just the Friday.
Right.
And we couldn't get a hold of each other properly. And next thing I know, I see a tweet saying, "Oh, I'm heading back home for a long drive now." And it's like, "What? You're leaving now?"
Yeah. Unfortunately, while I was down there, I had no cell coverage. Because I have a company phone, so I literally can't use it down in the States. So unfortunately, I only had tweeting ability when I was back at my friend's place with Wi-Fi. Morning and evening, that was it.
We picked up T-Mobile cards for our phones. Both of our phones are unlocked, so we put them in there, and for the next 5 days, we had like unlimited use on them for data. So it's just like messaging and Twitter back and forth.
And that's what I should have done.
I was doing live tweeting at the Gearbox event for Game Canadian on Twitter. So as soon as they told me a detail, I went right onto Twitter. So try to get it out there.
That's what I should have done, and I didn't. I mean, next year, if this happens again, I will definitely look at doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of more gaming stuff, I know we touched base on Borderlands 2. You went to the event, but what they did announce was that there's a new Vault Hunter.
I got him.
What do you mean you got him?
At the end of the event,
they were giving him out.
Everybody that went to the panel at the end of the event, they made sure everybody walked out of there with the new Vault Hunter code.
Yeah, well, if you're not using it, hello.
No. I'm hanging on to that.
So who's the new Vault Hunter?
He's Psycho.
Krieg is his name.
Okay.
He's this giant psycho guy with an axe, and I've got video of the demo they showed. I managed to get a good recording of it. I'm going to be posting it on YouTube when I get home.
Did they do any background story on it all, or just besides it was just an experiment in the ground?
They really didn't say much about him, other than what his skill tree is, powers, what his second wind. They basically showed him in action about level 20.
What's his special ability?
His special ability? Well, what do you mean, like his second wind?
No, like the Necromancer has the robot.
Oh, he brings out this friggin' chainsaw axe and just goes absolutely berserk.
Nice.
He'll lunge at people and he'll throw it, and it's just absolute chaos. I'm really looking forward to playing with this guy. I got the code sitting right in front of me here in my note.
Here's my problem with adding new Vault Hunters to this game is I have yet to get really far in the game anyway, and if I have to play the beginning of the game for the 10th time, I just might go crazy. As soon as you start a new character, you've got to start from the beginning again.
Yes. No, I agree with that. I don't know. This character's definitely got some life to him. And he's active right away. It's like you could join a multiplayer game with somebody that does not have this character, and he'll work with no problem.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah. Level up really quick. Speaking of leveling up, they're doing a level cap increase to 61 for the people who've hit 50 already.
Yep.
And with that, to make it easier, a new Vault Hunter mode called the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just got level 38 today. I'm gonna try to catch up to that. Another thing they announced, which it kind of pisses me off a little bit because they announced a new loot chest.
Yes.
I got that with my collector's edition of Borderlands, and I'm like, I feel special that I got that because there was not a whole lot of them made, but now they're making 5,000 new ones, like a diamond-plated paint scheme.
Yep.
In the chest, there's going to be a bunch of in-game legendary weapons, got your level, a replica Goliath mask, on your characters, and some Vault Hunter wanted posters, and 20 shift codes.
For $100.
Yeah, I'm like, really? Those people should have pre-ordered the last one. Screw you guys. Mine's better. Mine's original.
It gave out a ton of the original loot chests at the panel. Everybody that went in got a piece of colored paper, and there was about 6 colors. And then about 3/4 of the way through the panel, they drew a color out, and they said, okay, all these people that have this color, at the end of the panel, go to that door, and you'll get a free loot chest.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. It's right. They had all, because originally when they ran the first run of loot chests, they couldn't get enough of them at the time for the people that wanted them. So they made extra. Well, they made too many. So now they're just trying to get rid of them.
That's what I get. That's what I don't get for not going to panels. Not that I can complain, mind you. I came home with a boatload of loot.
Yeah, I saw your...
I came home with my own loot chest.
Nice.
Well, I believe we're going to wrap it up now, unless you guys have anything else you wanted to touch base on.
What did you think of Blizzard's announcement of their new game?
I wasn't there.
What did they announce?
What did they announce?
It's on the show. Was on the expo floor.
I didn't, like I said, I didn't see. There's half the things that were there I didn't even see.
They've announced, it was supposed to be some new game of some sort. There was not not an expansion. It wasn't a sequel. It was something brand new. And the joke was with a friend of mine that if it was a Facebook game, I'd be really disappointed.
They announced a Facebook game.
No, they announced a card battle game, a free-to-play card battle game.
Well, you know what? I think I did hear this.
Hearthstone or something. I believe it's called.
Hearthstone, yes.
Yeah, I was checking my notes here for it. I got a mess of notes. And it was like, Hearthstone, and it's very colorful. It's very cute. It's free to play, but you can buy special cards to help stock your deck.
I think they were giving away codes for a free deck on Hearthstone, weren't they?
I don't know. They announced all this during the panel that I couldn't get into.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not impressed.
I like card deck games, but mostly actual tabletop, like Magic and stuff like that, where I'm with my friends playing.
Oh, I agree, yes.
And speaking of tabletop gaming, this coming Saturday, March the 30th, is National Tabletop Gaming Day, as established by Felicia Day and Will Wheaton.
Oh, cool.
So I will be hosting, I don't know, Matt, if you're going to be back in town by then.
Come back Thursday.
Awesome. So I'm going to be hosting a Tabletop Gaming Day in my home on Saturday. So all local Waterloo, Kitchener, Guelph, Cambridge players, even as far as Toronto, if you want to come out, I'm hosting it probably around 2 p.m. until whenever on Saturday.
I'll keep that in.
Please feel free to come in. I have stuff to give away as donated by Looney Labs, the creators of Flux. So those of you who have a copy of Space Flux, you'll want one of these loot pieces. So definitely come on out.
Awesome.
I got to talk with the missus and figure out if that's a possibility for me to come drop in for a little bit after work. But hopefully I will see you guys there. But,
hopefully.
You never know.
Thanks for coming on to the podcast, guys. Sean is sick right now, and Kirby is, dealing with real life probably for the next little bit. So he's going to be dropping in and out on various podcasts from going forward. You can follow Sean. Follow him on Ziantane. That's XIANTAYNE. If you cannot spell that. What is it on Twitter now? It's OMG Nexus.
OMG Nexus is the website. You can also follow our podcast, which is the OMG Hour. And that is the OMG Hour on Twitter. And you can check out the site at omgnexus.com.
And where can we find you, Matt?
You can find me on Twitter at CanuskyTheHusky. And you can also find me on the COG website. And I'll be putting up my PAX report, hopefully by the weekend.
Look for that on CanadianOnlineGamers.com. And if you're looking to check out our community stuff, you can go to GameCanadian.com. We are on Twitter at GameCanadian as well. And we also got at the COG Arcade. Find us on Facebook as well under Game Canadian. Lots of places to find us. We got the YouTube channel as well. So youtube.com/Game Canadian, and Crossroad always downloads the podcast and uploads it to YouTube for us as well. So we can be there. Find us on iTunes, and I usually, always, I should say, post a Podbean first. And you can find myself at Johnny Zio on Twitter and just about everywhere else. Facebook, Xbox Live, PSN, all that stuff. And Jen is at Jen Dingle. And unfortunately, she couldn't be here to provide her input a little bit more, but it was nice to have her just for a little bit. So thanks for coming on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I'd love to do it again.
Thanks for having me on, John.
Yeah. See you later.
See you guys. See ya.
Okay.